Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
Happy Wednesday to you, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed your middle of the week so far. We're almost close to the weekend once more, and we are just about beginning to get used to these cool weathers we've been seeing over the last couple of days, and it looks like to continue on as you make your way up to the upcoming weekend. And better chance of some scattered showers and storms will be arriving. Looks like on Friday. We'll talk about that weekend forecast coming up. On Thursday, as you know, that is the Smith River Fest taking place down there at the Sports Complex in Axton. So head over on there this weekend. Like I said, we're going to be having coverage on that all weekend long for you to make sure you're up to date on our Facebook page. If you're joining us on television, we appreciate your company. I'm Dustin Staples. For those of you wondering who the heck I am, I thought I would quickly throw my name out there. You see it below right there at the lower third. So thanks so much for checking us out on BTW21 News. As always, we appreciate your company. So let's get right into things here before I quickly forget what I'm talking about right here. Lots of sunshine today. We saw more clouds than anything else. Kind of been an overcast sky from generally parts of our region out here today. Temperatures in the 70s. Really nice and cool out here, as will mean most likely again. You may see a few breaks of sun here and there coming in at 70, and then we'll come in at 64 later on our evening for our Wednesday night. So if you make any plans to do anything out there, maybe a stray chance of a sprinkler shower here or there. Other than that, things are going to remain pretty cool and comfortable, to put it out there. So that'll be a little bit of a different taste of us for tonight. Temperatures are going to be staying in the 50s and low 60s everywhere you go across Rocky Mountain up towards Boone's Mill outside of Ferrum College, which, by the way, I believe their school is underway this week or next week. So you have your kids heading back to school across Southwest Virginia or even across the Commonwealth. Do know that school is underway, so do be careful if you're hitting the roads if they are this busy time of year once again. Our friends towards Patrick County, you're going to be seeing temperatures in the low 50s. Elsewhere across the region here, we got a Stewart coming in there at 58. There along Highway 57, so that's kind of funny there to put that as. City of Martinsville coming in there in the upper 50s, low 60s. So Ridgeway, same story evening. So if you have any outdoor activities tonight, do know there is a stray chance of a shower possible, but things should be just pretty okay. But again, the cool and mild temperatures are going to be the theme for us for tonight. Moving on ahead to our friends here in the city of Martinsville. If you're watching us on Chatmoss Cable on our friends on Comcast, Xfinity Channel 21, we thank you for that as well. If you're doing anything in the city, again, a stray possible sprinkler here or there, but again, we may wake up to mostly to partly cloudy skies, kind of what we've been waking up to the last several mornings, minus not as much rain for Thursday, but we may see rain trickle in later on Thursday evening. So if you do have plans to be out and about on your Thursday, just do know we may have a stray shower possible late in the day on Thursday, but generally speaking, we should have a partly to mostly cloudy sky out there as well. And so and again, slightly warmer. So we're going to warm up just a little bit near 80 here in the city. Elsewhere across our communities, temperatures in the 70s. So a pretty cool and it's going to feel like fall if you ask me out here, because our temperatures are going to be staying in the low to mid 80s and low 70s out there. So I know this is so itching to get out and maybe do some of your fall activities if you are a fall fanatic. I think I can say that if that's okay. You do know that our pumpkin spice has been making appearances in stores, so if you haven't got that already, if you like myself, I like pumpkin spice. Get you some of that stuff, right? It's good. It smells good, I think. A lot of people don't like the scented candles and all the other stuff. I'm not a fan of the candles either, but maybe, pumpkin spice, I don't know, pumpkin pie, I don't know. I'm just trying to throw some things out that make you feel like it's fall. Low 70s again. Our friends in Patrick County, Stewart coming in at 78, 71 there in Meadow Sedan, outside of Claudeville, Ararat, Patrick Springs. Same story elsewhere. You go up towards the city of Martinsville, Ridgeway, outside the Blue Ridge Airport. Temperatures in the low 80s, 79 for our friends outside of Ferrum up towards Boone's Mill, and Burnt Chimney, high of 81 there outside of Rocky Mount, and again here in the city coming in at 80 degrees. So a very nice day is on the making for us. If you are doing some things out and about tomorrow, just do take advantage of it, because like I said, when is it it's unheard of that we get temperatures this cool this time of year. Again, our average highs are running about in the low to mid 80s out there. So other than that, it's not been feeling too bad out there. I'd consider it into consideration compared to what we've been seeing so far. As July and June went down as probably one of the hottest in a while that we've seen, those long stretch of 90s. I think we saw 2 heat waves. We almost had 3 if we had continued on our August stretch of weather. So thankfully we didn't see that early on August. So we had like 1 or 2 so far. I think we've had like 3 days of 90s here for the month of August. So we're doing pretty okay with that. And I know we're not talking about Europe this week because I'm going to mention it one more time, and I'm going to take a break from talking about our friends across the UK and Spain, Portugal, the Mediterranean Sea, where they're seeing, get this, not their first, not their second, not their third, their 4th heat wave. It's causing drought conditions, wildfires. As far as we're aware of, I believe it's now 63% of parts of the Europe have had a lot of open fires, just wildfires going on out there, and let you know that climate change is continuing to impact the whole global world here as we live in the U.S. We're very thankful. I know that California file, there's still some spots here and there, some hot spots is what they're called, parts of California. They're still seeing that wind that's moving up north, parts of Oregon and Washington, Idaho, Montana, even seeing some of those wildfires, smoke now that's being drifted into that. And speaking of a little different, not dust here, or not smoke, but Saharan dust. We've been talking about the tropics, really not much to discuss because it's been so fairly quiet, and you've been hearing probably about the Saharan dust. Our friends to the south this year, they have been lucked out. Well, it depends because variations of this. People have, if you have asthma or maybe you suffer from lung issues, you can't really, enjoy seeing this Sahara dust impact because it impacts you by your health. So, but there are some benefits to it too. So maybe if you can't go outside, obviously we've been pretty fortunate in the state of Virginia and the Commonwealth so far that we haven't had this issue with our air quality alerts being pretty excessively alerted, a code orange or a code yellow alerts as weather turns. I mean, we've had some hot days and, the humidity's been unbearable, but we haven't had the Saharan dust, which, by the way, as you see here, this is kind of plume of it. This was back in parts of 2020. As you remember, we had that Saharan dust, and that made our tropics quiet. And this is pretty interesting because that's one of the things that makes this thing possible to be quiet. But again, low air quality alerts get issued. Mostly the southern states across Mississippi, Texas, I think Florida and Alabama even has had some of this Saharan dust, even along the coast of South Carolina about a couple of weeks ago. And what's happened, it's a plume of dust that comes off the continent of Africa, the Cape Verde Islands, and kind of just makes its way, actually I should be doing this right, kind of makes its way towards the Atlantic, and the way the current and the waves work, if the wind direction, the flow is running smoothly, that wind and that dust just picks it up, and you kind of see here a pretty intensifying bloom of dust there. And then, like I said, I'm blocking the top of this. Let me read step by. You can read that outside for you. It creates vibrant sunsets and a lot of gorgeous colors for our sunrises even too. So it just depends on how dry and how active the year is, even because sometimes we continue to see all of the impacts of the Saharan dust, and a lot of the things that we don't take into consideration is that yes, we may not live outside of South Africa or the coast of Africa. Just do know that it's interesting to see that because it's pretty unique, to put it as. So right now, that's one reason the tropics are staying quiet. We've had some Sahara dust already stirring up again, but it's staying well off the coast of the United States. So there was a little bit of area disturbance. We'll talk more of this on Thursday outside of the Gulf of Mexico. If anything that does deform, it may form into some tropical activity, to put it as, to say the least, out there. So pretty interesting stuff. I know we really haven't talked much about the tropics. Here we are going into peak season here pretty soon. Are we going to have things calming down? Time will tell. Right now, ocean waters are pretty warm, so any activity that can develop will develop because of how hot and how warm those water temperatures are. They're in the Gulf of Mexico temperatures. I think they're in like the upper 70s to low 80s, so it's pretty warm for any tropical development. Same story for the Atlantic Ocean. Our temperatures out there in the Atlantic are in the 70s as well. So if you've been to the beach over the last several months for some vacation, you probably noticed our water temperatures haven't been as cool, but now that things are beginning to heat up for tropical activity, thanks to the tilt of the Earth's axis, we're getting closer to fall now. That warm water will linger in for a little bit, but then again, things will slowly cool down as you make your way towards the upcoming fall season, which again is prime time for our tropics. One more quick recap. Again, tomorrow, to take advantage of it, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds out here at upper 70s, low 80s for everybody, for our friends here. So take advantage of this cool weather here. I'd rather be here in Medicine Dan at 71. So a lot of farms and orchards for apple picking may be taking place here pretty soon. So maybe for one of those. And our farmers market, maybe one out there today on Wednesday. But again, head over there on Saturday morning between 7 and noon. Luis Romero did a live report on that a couple of weeks ago. You can go check that out on his YouTube channel. Get you some fresh vegetables and now some of that fruit. Apple picking is underway. Maybe some pears too. All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk again on Thursday. Let you know how the rest of the weekend's shaping up to be. Until then, there's more great local programming coming up after a quick break.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.